Welcome to the first ever edition of Leadoff Doubles. Today is April 5th, 2022. I'm your host, Kenny Roberts, and this is the National League Preview. Today we're going to dive into some division predictions, some MVP and Cy Young picks, and some playoff predictions. Alright, no more waiting around. Baseball's back, so let's get into it. We'll start in the East. At the bottom of the division, the Washington Nationals. I got them winning 60 games this year after they sold off Trey Turner, Max Scherzer, and Kyle Schwarber at last year's trade deadline. They look like they're prepared to lose 100 games this year. The lone bright spot for the Nats is MVP favorite Juan Soto. He's going to bring electricity to the ballpark every day for Nats fans. That's about it for them. Move on to Miami, coming in fourth in the East. I got them winning 70 games. They got a bit of a revamped roster for the 2022 season after they added catcher Jacob Stallings for Pittsburgh, third baseman Joey Wendell, and your World Series MVP Jorge Soler. They built some momentum last year. They'll look to keep building on it this year, but it's not going to be enough to get into October. Coming in third in the East, I got New York. The Mets got them winning 86. They're one of the most anticipated teams in this league this season. But I think their woes from last season carry over. I mean, we already got Jake DeGrom nursing a shoulder injury. And Scherzer's coming down with something too. Yeah, they added Chris Bassitt and Starling Marte, but I think they're going to have some trouble this year. Everybody's on the Mets. I don't like them. Coming in second in the East, we have your World Series champion, Atlanta Braves. I got them winning 92 games this year after they persevered last year to win the World Series after they had a bunch of injuries mid-season. Their star, Ronald Acuna Jr., Ronnie, tore his ACL halfway through the year, yet they were still able to win the World Series. I like Atlanta to get back into October this year. Potentially make some noise. Coming in first in the East, I got the Philadelphia Phillies. I got them winning 94 games this year. They made a huge splash in the offseason, signing outfield slugger Nick Castellanos. He offers a perfect complement to Bryce Harper from the right side of the plate. They bolstered the pitching staff last year as well, adding Kyle Gibson from the Rangers at the deadline. The staff's led by Wheeler and Aaron Nola. They're perennial Cy Young candidates, both of them. I love the Phillies this year. I think they make it to October, win the division, potentially make some noise for the pennant. Coming in fifth in the Central Division now, I got Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to be at the bottom of the table for a while. They got a few bright spots. Third baseman Brian Hayes. And this shortstop prospect, everyone's talking about O'Neal Cruz. Guy's 6'7", plays shortstop. It's wild. Cruz is going to start the season in the minors. They sent him down, but expect him to be up on the big league club 2 weeks into the year, so the Pirates can control his service time. Coming in fourth in the Central, I got the Cincinnati Reds winning 68 games. Cincinnati doesn't look like they're trying to compete this year. They traded Jesse Winker and Gino Suarez to Seattle in early March. I don't think much is happening for him this year. They lost Nick Castellanos as he walked over to Philadelphia in free agency. Looks like they're going to dwell in the basement of the Central for a few years while they wait for these prospects to develop, but who knows? Maybe Joey Votto can have another big year, pad his stats a bit. Future Hall of Famer Joey Votto. We'll see what the Reds give us. Probably not much. Coming in third in the Central, we got the Chicago Cubs. I got them winning 76 games. Kind of a weird team last year. Overperformed, I think, a bit. Definitely exceeded expectations. They traded away 4 of the players from that 2016 World Series squad. First baseman Anthony Rizzo, third baseman Chris Bryant, shortstop Javi Baez, and their utility man Kyle Schwarber. They'll look to compete again this year, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They got this international signing, Seiya Suzuki from Japan. He's going to be exciting for Cubs fans, but I don't think it's going to be enough to make it to October. Coming second in the Central, I got the St. Louis Cardinals. Winning 88 games, Cardinals have a solid roster. Solid. I don't think it's enough to win the division, but I think they can make the playoffs in these newly expanded postseason. They're definitely the only team in the Central that can even sniff first place, other than the Brewers. They got Jack Flaherty, who's taken the reins from Adam Wainwright as the ace in the rotation. Wainwright's gonna mentor Flaherty. It's looking good for Cardinals fans in the future here. I think they make the playoffs. And coming in first in the Central, we got your Milwaukee Brewers with that strong pitching staff. They're going to win 100 games. They're going to dominate. Their pitching staff's led by Cy Young winner last year, Corbin Burns. Not much change for them. They added Hunter Renfroe in the outfield in a trade with the Red Sox, and they sent Jackie Bradley Jr., who they traded for last year, back to Boston. They look poised to win the division and potentially take another run at the NL pennant. All right, let's move over to the West now. Coming in fifth, the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks had a horrendous year last year. Had some historic losing streaks. It's not going to be good for them this year. They didn't really do anything in the offseason. They don't look like they're trying to compete much either. Not going to be a good year for D-backs fans, sorry to say. Coming in fourth, winning 68 games, I got the Colorado Rockies. Again, they don't look like they're very good on paper. I mean, they made the deal to sign former NL MVP Chris Bryant. They lost their longtime shortstop Trevor Story to Boston. It's going to be near the bottom of the table in the NL for them this year again. Their fans are going to have to endure another sub 500 season as they search for some direction here. Coming in third in the West, I got the San Francisco Giants. Winning 88 games. Surely the Giants were the most exciting team last year, exceeding all expectations, winning a league high, major league high, 107 games. They got knocked out in 5 games in the NLCS by the Dodgers, putting an end to their season, but it was all gravy at that point for the Giants. I mean, this year I don't think they're going to repeat. There's going to be a bit of regression there, I think. They lost Kevin Gausman to the Blue Jays, tried to replace him with White Sox starting pitcher Carlos Rodon, but I just don't think they can do it again this year. Coming in second in the West, I got the San Diego Padres winning 96 games. They've loaded up. They traded with the Yankees for first baseman Luke Voigt. I think he's going to DH quite a bit this year, now that we got the universal DH in the National League. They traded for Mike Clevenger at last year's deadline. And this week, they just traded for ace Sean Manaea. Padres are built to compete. They have a strong lineup and an even stronger pitching staff. They are taking a run at the West Division here. They're going to try and unseat the Dodgers. It's going to be exciting baseball in the West. But I don't think it's enough to beat the Dodgers. I got the Dodgers winning the division, winning 102 games. They're going to reclaim the title. It's that simple. Their lineup is the strongest in baseball. The rotation is one of the top 5 in baseball. They're the strongest team in the major leagues. There's not much else to be said. They're a great ball club. They win the division and come first in the regular season standing in the National League. Hey, let's get into some MVP picks here. We're going to do it by tiers. We got someone from the first tier, also known as a bit of a favorite, kind of top 3 right now in the odds. We got a second tier, kind of deeper down on the board, and then we got a long shot for you, all right? We'll start with the first tier. It's our guy, Ronald Acuna Jr., coming back from a torn ACL. Ronnie's going to be motivated. He just watched this Braves team win the World Series without him. He's going to hit 40 home runs, even though he's not starting the season till May. I don't think he'll be stealing bags as much as he has in the past because he's recovering from that ACL. But I think he could potentially hit 40 doubles. He just tries to take that extra bag when he puts the ball in play as opposed to trying to steal second. I like Acuna to go 40 homers, 40 doubles in only 5 months here. I think he has a solid shot to finish top 2, top 3 in MVP voting in the National League. Love Ronnie this year. He's our pick for the first tier. For the second tier, we got Fernando Tatis Jr. Yes, he's got a broken wrist that he injured in a motorcycle accident. But he's easily one of the most exciting players in all of baseball. And if the Padres are going to take a run at the Dodgers for the division, Tatis is going to be leading the charge offensively. He's pure electricity every time he sets foot on the baseball diamond. He's got 40-40 power and speed. He's going to make some noise, and look for him to be in the conversation late September for the National League MVP. Then we got our long shot, Christian Yelich. He's been quiet the last few years. Last season was the first season of his career he had an OPS plus under 100. He was only able to muster 9 homers and 9 stolen bases. This is after he won the MVP in 2018 and finished second in voting in 2019. I think Yelich returns to form here for the Brewers in 2022 and helps them potentially advance to the World Series. Look for Yelich again to be in the conversation late September for MVP. Those are the MVP picks. Let's get into some Cy Young action here. Again, same thing. We got 3 tiers. We got the favorite. We got the second tier. And we got the long shot for you. All right. Walker Buehler, he's one of the top 3 pitchers on the board right now for the NL Cy Young. Obviously, this is being recorded after the news broke about the fracture in Jake DeGrom's scapula. If he were fully healthy to start the season, he's an obvious shoe-in to be top 3 in Cy Young voting. He's just an absolute alien out there. But if he's going to miss potentially 2 months of the season, I don't know if we can talk about him winning the Cy Young like we would if he were healthy to start the season. That's why I like Walker Buehler, the ace of this Dodgers rotation, to make some noise. Last season, he posted the lowest ERA of his career at 2.47. He finished 4th in Cy Young voting. If he repeats that, he's going to be in the conversation again, and I like him to potentially win 20 games. For our second tier, we're going to keep it in LA with the Dodgers. Julio Urias. He had an incredible campaign last year. He led the majors in wins with 20. He touted a 5.13 strikeout to walk ratio. That's astounding. He posted a 3.13 FIP and he struck out 9.5 per 9. He is without a doubt one of the most valuable pitchers in the National League. And if he puts up similar numbers this year, he'll surely see some more love from voters after he finished 7th in voting last season, despite his stellar performance. And then we got our long shot, Freddie Peralta. He's listed at 3rd on the Brewers depth chart for the starting rotation. But he posted 2.81 ERA and 0.97 WHIP last year. He was overshadowed by Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff. That's how good this Brewers rotation is. But if he puts up numbers like this again this year, he's gonna be in the conversation. And he's way down on the board. I like Freddie Peralta this year to potentially win the NL Cy Young and help the Brewers make a run at the pennant. All right. There's our MVP and Cy Young picks. Let's get into the playoff picture, what everybody wants to hear. We got our 1 seed, LA Dodgers, and the 2 seed, Milwaukee Brewers. Both these teams are going to get a bye this year because the playoffs expanded to 12 teams. For the wildcard series, it's a 2 out of 3 this year. We've done away with the 1 game playoff. We got the 3 seed Philadelphia Phillies winning the NL East, taking on the 6 seed St. Louis Cardinals in one of those 3 wild card spots. I think Philly wins in 3 games after their bats come alive in games 2 and 3. St. Louis is going to come up a bit short after a great season, but Philly Stars create some big moments for the city that has the longest playoff drought in the National League. I've been there since 2012. I think the Phillies take it 2-1. And then in the other wildcard series, we got the Padres taking on the Braves. This series will go 3 games as well, as both teams get a shutdown performance from a starting pitcher. Game 3 is going to be decided late, and the Padres are going to come out on top. San Diego advances to take on the Dodgers and add to their budding rivalry in the NL West. Padres take it 2-1. On to the division series, we got the number 1 seed Dodgers taking on NL West division rivals San Diego Padres. Both teams, they're going to lean on their stellar pitching staffs in this series, and it should go the distance because of it. I think the Dodgers' reign gets put on hold as the Padres finally beat Big Brother and advance to the NLCS. Tatis is going to hit a home run at a key moment for the Padres, and they finally announced their presence in the National League. Padres take it 3-2. In the other division series, we got the Brewers taking on the Phillies. I think the Brewers pitching staff is just too much for the Phillies here, and they win in 3 or 4 games. Hader and Devin Williams are going to snuff out any life the Phillies might have late in games, and the Brewers continue to dominate with pitching. I think the Brewers take it 3-1. All right, on to the NLCS. It's going to be the Brewers and the Padres. Brewers pitching staff is going to dominate early here. They're going to take both games at home as the series heads back to San Diego. The Padres are going to battle back and take games 3 and 4 and tie it up. Some key hits and big moments. Brewers are going to take game 5 and come home hoping to advance to the World Series. I think the Padres win Game 6 and Game 7 and advance to represent the National League in the World Series. The Padres take it 4-3. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We got our AL preview tomorrow where we'll preview all the same things: division records, MVP, Cy Young, and playoff predictions, and we'll throw out our World Series prediction as well. Remember to follow at Leadoff Doubles on Twitter. Subscribe here on YouTube. Check us out on any of your podcast platforms. Follow at Signature Wins on Twitter and visit www.signaturewins.com for all your picks. We specialize in baseball totals here. We got a mini database that we work on daily. We're going to be throwing out quite a few picks this year for MLB totals. So be sure to tune in to Leadoff Doubles here on YouTube and follow us on Twitter. Thanks again for tuning in. That's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow.